I'm doing some testing because I might want to do this during the daytime and not like 12:30 at night. So, but it saves them, so that's good. It'll be on my YouTube channel. I could have just made a video and just uploaded it at some, 6 o'clock like I normally do. But I'm just experimenting with the lives on the YouTubes, and so because this is for posterity and not for people watching right now, because there are a grand total of 0 people watching right now. Um, I'm gonna see on my channel to see if I'm live right now. Let's see. Yeah, I'm live right now. So I'm gonna leave that open, but I'm gonna mute that. Definitely gonna mute that. And that's so I can see, I think it has the chat, just in case somebody actually joins. Oh, somebody joined, hi. It's late, I know. We did a lot of running around tonight. So this is going to be my 854-948 build, and what I want to do is to do the alternate build, because again I have this guy already built. So this is the 854/948 go-kart that I got when I was 10, and then one of the alternate builds, but there's no instructions for it, is the motorcycle, and you can see the motorcycle on the box right there. And so I spent a lot of time as a 10-year-old trying to figure out how to build that. And there's even in here, there's another picture of it right there. So that was pretty easy to, figure out how to build it from the pictures in the box. And I will say, I do miss the alternate builds that sets used to come out with when we were kids. But life moves on. So I'm going to build from the instructions the 3-wheeled thing. For crying out loud, this is why you don't do this at 12:30 at night. The chopper. I'm gonna build a chopper, and I built it when I was a kid. I haven't built it since. So this is me, again, experimenting. I think trying to keep myself in view and the pieces in view, but that's gonna be a little difficult. But I'm gonna try to build this thing. There's 2 people watching. Hello, people. So here's me starting to build. I pulled all the pieces from my collection. This is what they call old square bricks, or old square pistons, because this is the pistons back in the day that oh yeah, I'm gonna try to keep on reading the it was a long time ago, Glenn. It was such a long time ago. So I mentioned this story yesterday, but nobody was probably around to hear it. We were getting Lego sets. My older brother, my younger sister, and me were getting Lego sets for Christmas and birthdays growing up. And so my earliest sets that I remember was the white fire station pre-minifig, even pre-minifig without the arms and legs, just the white with the black roof with the red trucks. And I don't think I have one of those here right now. I usually have one on my shelves, but I think I put it away. And the basic sets, the 2, 4, 6, 8 that came with the 10x20 green base plates. And so we had lots of Lego, but it was all basic brick, slopes, windows, doors. And it wasn't until 1977, and again, I was the perfect age, because 10 years old, I got this set, the 948, which is the US version of the 854. This is the 854 box that I got off of eBay years and years ago. And in it, the original instructions for 854. Pretty awesome. The little service pack that came out after the 854, but whatever. And I brought this to BrickFat, and so and all the pieces for the go-kart are inside here. So yes, I do have multiple versions of this set, copies of this set, and we'll get into that probably tomorrow, because I'm just going to build this thing and go to bed. I don't know why my laptop's set up, because I have the instructions right here. But I'm gonna go off the laptop for now. So anywho, without much further ado, I'm going to start building. So I'm going to try to entertain folks, because I do sometimes go off on tangents. I will say that the 854, like most of my friends who were getting Lego as a kid, got the 853, the big car. I got the 854 because my dad was a bricklayer back in 19. Actually, I think he started off as he was a welder by then. And again, I didn't even realize I didn't feel like I was deficient in my Lego collection. I really thought because three of us kids and getting Lego every Christmas and New Year's, birthdays, it was quite fantastic, fantastically awesome. It's asking for, did I not? Oh, those are fours. 1, 6, which, there. I should look at exactly the parts and pieces that I pulled. I never even noticed that before. So we had lots of Lego in the house, and the three of us loved playing with Lego. As a matter of fact, the Lego would be out on the pool table more because that's where our building area was overall. And that was the living room floor, but Mom wasn't a big fan of the living room floor covered with Lego. So we took it down to the basement overall, and we had Lego on top of the pool table. I'm sure the Lego wasn't good for the pool table, but what did we know at the time? And so we would ostensibly and extensively play with Lego on top of the pool table. And we actually had to come up with a rule to save peace in the family. We had a rule back then, my brother and I especially had a rule back then, that whatever you built, you were allowed to keep it together for at least a week, should you want to. So whatever your build is out of the collective collection of the three of ours, you were allowed to keep whatever you built together for a week, should you want to, because, and I won't mention names, if I was halfway through a build and I knew there was a piece in my brother's or sister's build over there and they weren't looking, I would take it apart to get that piece. And that again, sober second thought as an 8-year-old, probably not the best thing to do to your brother or sister at the time. So we had a few rows, as they say in the UK. We had a few issues, kids fighting. And so my mom, with the wisdom of Solomon there, the wisdom of smart people, she, how does this work now? Got us to make a rule. And the rule was, again, from my mom, is that if you built something and you wanted to keep it, you got to keep it together for a week. And that was brilliant. I will also say at the time, that was important to us. That was the biggest concern to an 8-year-old, because that was constant friction between my brother, sister, and me. We didn't fight about too much else. My family, my mom was such a, I won't say diplomat, but she made sure the kids, we didn't fight a lot. She didn't like the fighting with the kids, with us kids. So we were told under no certain terms that we were allowed to fight. So we couldn't fight like some other of my friends with their siblings. Like, we were not allowed to do that. And it did keep peace in the family. So my mom was very, very good at that, keeping peace in the family. And again, I for me, anyway, I thought my childhood is second to none, because we had the Lego, we had the wood pile outside, we had a little wood shop, we had a field to fly kites in. I built my own kites when I was a kid. I had bikes, hand-me-downs from my cousins, and I didn't think anything of it because they were fantastically worn in. I didn't have to worry about getting them dirty. This is pre-BMX, so BMX didn't come out until I was a teenager. But we did have our little bikes that we could ride around town. Back then, of course, you know, not to say I am Gen X, but I'm Gen X, and you only came home when the streetlights came on, and it's truth. It's not like I walked uphill both ways in the snow to school. That's patently absurd. But I did. The rule was, not necessarily on a school night, but in the summertime and on weekends, you came home when the streetlights came on. So that's actually true. That actually happened in my family. And we grew up in an exceedingly small town. Back then, it's not a small town anymore, but back then, 1,600 people. 1,600 people in my little town of Winona, Ontario. And let's see, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It looks like it's 12 down. And that is an 8. So I'll put that in there. Right, hopefully 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So right there. I don't know how true this is going to be, but we're going to find out. And I'm sure we'll adjust it should it need to be changed. Again, I haven't built this thing since I was in like my teens, my pre-teens actually. So and then these two go here. And so my town, the village of Winona at the time, in the township of Saltfleet, Ontario. this is dating myself. Had 1,600 people, and amongst those 1,600 people, my parents were very well known because they were active in the church, they were active in the Boy Scouts, they were active in everything they could be active in because my parents were that socially oriented, civic duty, blah, 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 civic responsibility. And so I couldn't jaywalk without it getting back to my parents. And if I was disciplined at school, I would be disciplined at home. I will say I'm old enough to remember getting the strap. That did stop later in my life, but up until grade 3, I got the strap on my hand a few times at school, and then I got it at home. So it is what it is. I'm fine. So, but it is what it is. I will say on that specific note, I am not a corporal punishment kind of person at all. I don't believe in it. But I don't believe myself for my childhood that it was a detriment. I don't think it was necessarily necessary because there was other venues of discipline that my parents could have used, such as, and they learned this very, very quickly, take away the Lego. Take away the Lego, I'm gonna smarten up. And because when I was 6 or 7 years old, the let me count this: 2, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, I guess. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm at a loss right now because it's very hard to see. I think there is a gap there. I can't tell. And so my parents learned as I got older that just taking away the Lego for an afternoon would smarten me up if I was doing something silly or stupid. And I was, don't take away my Lego. So, yeah, that was fun. On another note about that, it was the early 70s, and times were different back then, and I wasn't strapped too much. I remember like twice, maybe 3 times up until grade 3, and I think grade 3, 1970, I want to say 76, 75, that was basically outlawed at our schools up here, and that's fine too. And this is more here. So didn't want to go off on that tangent too much, but so far, where are we now? This is a 2x2 in the middle by the looks of it. But as I say, my childhood was really second to none to anything else because my parents were civically oriented, and we did a lot of social stuff. My parents were leaders in the community, and we would be actively involved in various things. Went on a Peach Festival, fantastic, and Boy Scouts. My childhood is all Boy Scouts for like 25 years. And we would do a lot of camping, and we would do a lot of hiking, and we would do a lot of campfire making, and a lot of how to pack and go on canoe trips. Did lots of canoe trips, like week canoe trips and stuff like that. And I loved all of it. It was utterly fantastically awesome. And as I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And We didn't have a lot of money, but my dad built the house I grew up in, a solid brick bungalow house. So it's not like I was wanting. I didn't realize that, we were quote unquote lower middle class, but we weren't lower middle class. And that's the whole thing. We were not lower middle class. Back then, all of my peers were basically in the same area. It was a farming community. We grew up working on farms, picking fruit and blah, blah, blah. There was always work to be done. All my uncles were self-employed. So I had the ability to, work for them as when they were roofing or framing or eavesdropping or farming, whatever. It was a lot of good times. And I was never without a job growing up. I was never without an income since I was 8. So that was a good thing. And if there was problems, if your house needed work, I'm not saying we were Mennonites, but the community would show up, and especially my uncles and aunts, and we would build stuff together, and it was just wonderful. So anyway, on that specific note, it was a good time, was had by all, as they say. I think the cap is there, yeah, I guess. And one of the important parts of my youth is this stuff. And I mentioned it before, and if you're here still, 2 people, I never had a dark ages. Doesn't get back to Lego. So my earliest memories, because my brother's older, he had Lego. And so when I was growing up, my earliest memories are sitting when we were home, playing with Lego in the middle of the living room floor. And so that's like 4 years old playing with Lego. Duplo wasn't even invented yet. This is like 1971. And so we would have fun, my brother and I. And again, as I say, we had to have like the wisdom of Solomon from my mom to make sure we kept the peace. But in the end, we did play a lot with the Lego. Chat disconnected. Well, that's just dumb. This thing's still going. It's live. So, oh, I lost internet for a second. This is 6. And so the Lego, as I say, we had all the basic sets, which was perfectly acceptable at the time. And then, as I say, the 10 years old Technic came out, which was utterly fantastic, so much fun. And after Technic, so that got me into my teens, and I started, as I say, working on with my uncles and making money. And I started buying my own Lego because my parents stopped buying me Lego when I hit 13. I've talked about that a few times in my life, which is fine. It's what's expected. Like 13-year-olds don't get Lego for Christmas, except me. So, and so I would start buying my own, and that was always a good time for me. Walking into stores and, at 14, 15, 16, buying, Galaxy Commanders and blah, blah, blah. I was heavily into classic space at the time. Well, that's not supposed to be there. I think I missed this. I think I missed something. Yeah, you get out of there. And so, so I didn't have a dark ages through my teen years, and I started buying my own, and then I started buying classic space, as I say, and Technic. Yeah, that's right. I hope it's right. And that got me into my college. And what happened was that not only did I buy Lego back when I was like 14, 15 years old, I also bought a Commodore 64. And when I bought my Commodore 64, I started building interface cards, soldering interface cards, and building robots. Because by that time, the 4.5 volt motors were out on the market. Not just the big black ones that they had for the train motors, but the little gray ones, because the Technic sets were out at the time. And let's see, oh, that's, I'm missing, that goes back there. And then these guys go here. This is an interesting build. I'm going to say that. I forgot how quote unquote difficult it is. There's a lot to it that is hard to see from the pictures, and that's fine. I'll be right back because I forgot something. Actually, I'll just get one from up here. The one piece that I forgot to get out of, it's a gray hinge. So I just took it off something else. Shh. So yeah, we're talking about my childhood and getting into my teens and 20s. So the Commodore 64 interface still kept me buying Lego and mostly Technic. And when I moved out on my own, well, I moved out on my own. I moved in with 3 of my friends. We rented a house in Winona, and my Lego collection came with me. So that was fun. My Lego collection came with me into the house, and the my roommates, my housemates, my Lego collection came with me, and we would come home from church on the Sunday, and you know, and we would play with Lego sometimes. That's what we did, and so that was fun. And then I took the bedroom in the basement, and in the basement, basically, we had a ping pong table. And what I did there was I just basically put my classic space layout on the pool table. I mean the ping pong table, which was fun. I think it's supposed to be this high. It looks like it's supposed to be that high. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, see what happens. And so that got me into my 20s. And then when I moved out from my friends and I, they all went off their way and I went off my way. We moved out of the house and I got my own apartment, and I had a 2-bedroom apartment, and I had an entire room for my Lego collection, which is fantastic. All right, let's go there like that. That's supposed to be like that. I guess it is. And that's supposed to be there. And this is another 6. So that got me into my 20s and 30s. And by that time, if you make it past 25 and you're still playing with Lego, you don't give it up after that. So it's just fine. And what I started to do after a while, because I was hitting garage sales and I was hitting flea markets, buying Lego. I put an ad in the Hamilton Spectator because Hamilton is down the street from Winona. Not anymore. Hamilton is Winona. Winona is Hamilton. But I put an ad in the Spectator for 2 weeks. It was a lot of money. I think it was $50 for 2 weeks, and that's a lot of money back then. But in the end, it was worth it. I was expecting. Actually, I did it twice. Actually, when I lived with my friends at the in our little house. I did it there, and basically this was fun. I had a CB in my car, and we had a CB station back at the house, and I'd be driving around in my car, 21, 22 years old, and the people would be calling the house because I put the phone number for the house in the ad in the paper, and basically the ad basically said wanted Lego, willing to pay up to $100, and my friends would get calls while I'm driving around the neighborhood after work. And they said, "Oh, Joe Smith over there on Windecky has a box for sale, $60. Oh yeah, I drove over there, pick it up, and I'd be driving back to the house, and oh wait, somebody over there has a box of Lego, so I drive over there, and I was expecting 2 or 3 calls over the 2 weeks. We got 2 or 3 calls a night. This is 1980, I want to say 87, 88. I got 2 or 3 calls a night calling the house, and I picked up a lot of Lego. At that time, and then the ad ran out, and that's fine. But we even got a call a few weeks after the ad ran out because people were still reading the Spectator, the want ads in the Spectator, and which is perfectly fine. And so that was a fantastic deal for me because I increased my collection by a lot by doing that. And then after that, let's see. Let me see if I can do this right. I moved out on my own. My buddies and I were still awesome friends, but I moved out on my own, and they moved out into their own little places. So we all went because we're more adult now, if you want to call it that. And as I say, I had an apartment to myself, and I had, um, and this gets a tire. Yay, gets to put a tire on. And as I said, I had a room dedicated to my Lego collection, which was fantastic. And I had a little monorail space base going on, so I was doing classic space, and I still was doing Technic, and I was buying, the 8844, if I remember correctly, the helicopter, and the 8448s and all that stuff, like all the supercars up until a point. I was buying it because I was working, I was making some money, and besides my apartment and food for me, which is basically craft dinner or spaghetti. Save up for a house, says Dad. Sure, I'll get right on that. But anyway, so yeah, I should have been saving up for a house. But in the end, I did happen to keep on buying Lego in the stores. And hitting the garage sales, as they keep on saying, and the flea markets and blah, blah, blah. And then I think it was a bunch of years after the first time I put an ad in the Spectator, I put a second ad in the Spectator, and this was on my own. And I had a company cell phone. So I would do exactly the same thing, and drive around and pick up Lego. And I got a call one night from a guy out in Selkirk. And if you look at a map from Hamilton to Selkirk, it's a bit of a drive. Not a huge drive, I mean Selkirk, but it's on Lake Erie. And he goes, Dave, I have a lot of Lego here. And he sounded like, I don't want to say this, but elderly, which is fine. He was a retiree living out in a little cottage house in Selkirk with his wife. And he says, 125 bucks, I'll make it worth your while. And I said, well, my ad says 100 max. And he goes, no, make it 125 and come on out. So I had a Dodge Dakota pickup truck at the time, 2008. So that's not that long ago. So no, it's before that. It's 1998. Anyway, I can't remember. It's an old pickup truck, an old Dodge. I was working at Late Lot in 97. I can't remember. Anyway, it's an old Dodge pickup truck, 3/4 ton. Or half ton, whatever the Dodge Dakota pickup truck says. So I drive out to Selkirk on Saturday morning. I drive all the way out there, and it's a beautiful little place right off of, I think, Highway 3, if the Highway 3 goes out there. But it's a little cottage area, cottage / house, and little houses with white picket fences and little gardens and little white gravel pathways. Like, it was just out of a beautiful book. And I find this one nice little cottage, beautiful windows and little planter boxes in front of the windows. And I knock on the door, and the guy comes out, and he is like 94, and he's retired, and he's been retired forever. And he tells me the story. He goes, I've been collecting Lego from garage sales and everything else for 40, 50 years now. And I was getting it for my kids first, and then I was getting it for my grandkids, but none of them want it. I go, really? And he goes, yeah. So he takes me out to his shed. A mini garage. It was you could fit a car in it if you took everything out of it, but it was a shed out back. And again, with windows and like planter boxes on it and paint whitewash and just gorgeous. And a little white gravel going to the shed, so cars aren't driving on this. Anyway, so he opens up the double doors, and the entire floor of the garage is boxes of Lego. The entire floor. And he goes, there. And I go, dude, this is worth well more than $125. Like, I can't, no, there's no way I'm buying this off of you for 125 bucks. This is like massive. He goes, I told you on the phone I wanted 125 bucks. Now, I've also learned from my parents, being social and whatever, and taking care of whatever, that you don't argue with old people. I made the point, and I made it clearly to him. I can't take it first. And he says, I want 125 bucks. And I said, I feel bad. He says, don't feel bad. This is what I want for this, 125 bucks. And he helped me load the back of my pickup truck. And the amount of Lego in his little shed there filled the back bed of the pickup truck to the top of the bed. And so it was, and back then it was like, there was no Mega Block, so it was all 100% Lego. It was utterly fantastic. That basically, at that point, increased my Lego collection by 1/3. So that's a lot. And so I brought all that home, sorted it into the collection, and remember fondly that gentleman out there in Selkirk, and talking about him a lot because he was absolutely awesome. Um, I don't think that's gonna work. I think I'm gonna have to do this. Bring these out more because these is what these tires have to go on, and because I don't think these are sixes. And so I remember that to this day how great that guy was, and he's got to be long gone because he was like 94 when I went out there. So I wish I kept track of the guy because he was really nice, decent guy. But most of my dealings, I will say this straight up, most of my dealings in the secondhand market have been exemplarily fantastic. There have been a few missteps. I will say that clearly and try to be as nice as possible. There was a few times when people tried to take advantage. Oh, you want this Lego? This one little tiny cardboard box of Lego? It's gonna be $100. No, this is back then. Like now, $100 is nothing for a box of Lego, as I keep on finding out. But back then, these people were just in it to make a profit. And for me, garage sales and stuff like that are for ways for people to get rid of their Lego. So these tubes are just monstrously bad. And so I would walk away, and that's the other point that I would try to make, is that you have to be willing to walk away. No matter how good the lot looks, if you think you are paying too much, there's going to be another lot coming along. This is what I have learned since I was 13 years old and starting buying my own Lego in the secondhand market. I have let lots of lots, lots of lots go through my fingers. There's one this week. I found it in Facebook Marketplace, and because I am trying to cut back on the amount of Lego I have. Yeah, that's going real well. But I am trying to cut back on the amount of Lego I have or purchasing, because I do happen to have a lot of Lego. Not as big as some of my friends' collections. That's okay. This is my collection. And I'm trying not to let it get outside this room. So I'm trying to keep it small. And so I will look at a lot on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. And, ooh, that's really good. But I'm not going to buy it. And I will actually post it on my Facebook feed to my friends who are Lego friends in the area and say, hey guys, there's this wonderful lot out there. Should you want it? Now, 2 years ago, I would have bought that lot. 2 years ago, it's for $200, and it's a lot of classic space. Well, not classic space, but anything before 1999. I saw Blacktron 2, I saw Ice Planet, I saw M-Tron, I saw Spirus. Lots of really cool sets in there for $200. Absolutely well worth it. The big panels, the Blacktron 2 panels, the trans neon green big panels. Possibly the Ice Station Odyssey in there, because I see the vehicle and the parts, but I didn't see the big base plate, but it could be buried. So well worth the $200. I actually texted the person trying to sell it. It's in West Hamilton. And I said, I want it, but I'll tell you what, if it's not sold in a week, I'll get it. Because I'm giving somebody else a chance. Because normally as soon as I saw that, I would be at knocking on the guy's door, the girl's door. But I said, this time, I sent them a text. I said, $200 is absolutely worth it. It's actually, I think this is me being honest with people. I get, admonished for that, being honest with people. But I said, you're asking too little for this. But anyway, I said, but if it's not sold in a week, and this is like, I think we were in New York City well, maybe not, maybe New Year's Eve. If it's not gone, I will text you back in a week if I still see the ad. So I texted her yesterday, and she goes, somebody's going to pick it up on Saturday. Oh, wow. C'est la vie. So I let it go. She did say if the person doesn't show up to pick it up on Saturday, that I can come up and get it, and that's fine. But my hope right now is that somebody actually does pick it up, because $200, and it's well worth it. I'm building this stuff. like there's not a single piece in there in that lot that I don't have. So, but in the end, this is cute. So this is fun. And leftover pieces. So this is, put these leftover pieces aside. And so you have to be willing to walk away. And this became very, 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 very apparent back in RTL Toronto days. We'll talk about this in a second. I hate boring people with stories that I'm sure they've already listened to. There was one year, I think it was 2002, 2003, around there. Maybe a little after, because Jeffy and I didn't start doing classic space layouts until I think the first one we did was 2007. But I started really hardcore looking for classic space before then, because this is my favorite thing to collect. You don't need to do a lot of effort to collect Technic for robot buildings. You just buy an RCX off the store shelf, and you can just buy Technic stuff. But classic space, fantastic. So anyway, what I set out to do, and I went to an RTL dinner in Toronto, and I told all my buddies there, everybody's there. I said during that course of conversation, because I think Chris had just finished getting his crane by doing the paperclip thing, except he used Lego, the 1x1 brick. I exchanged it for something else bigger, different, and without 17 trades later, he gets himself the latest crane. The second last trade, he was an 8880. But there was somebody 10 years before who got a house by starting with a paperclip and exchanging a paperclip for something more expensive and more expensive, more expensive, and then he got a house. So Chris did this with Lego, brilliant guy. What happened was, I said at that dinner, I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on eBay every week, every day, every week, and every time I see a Galaxy Explorer for listed on eBay in the auction, I'm going to do $75. Period. And this is where I say you have to be willing to let it go. If you don't get it, and don't lose sleep over it, because there will be another one down the road, different for sure. We can talk about that in a second. So anyway, so I set out to, and I bid over a year, over 100 different eBay auctions for Galaxy Explorers. And I bid $75. And again, I didn't worry about the condition. I didn't worry about if it came with a box. I didn't worry about if it came with instructions. If there was a Galaxy Explorer, a complete Galaxy, or what looked like a complete Galaxy Explorer in the picture, and the text says, for sale, a Galaxy Explorer in the 928 497, minus book, minus box, whatever, or with book, with box, whatever. I bid on it. And I bid on over 100 different auctions over 1 year, and I won 12 of them. So that means I got outbid 88 times minimum, right? So, and so what happens is, and sometimes the outbidding was $76. The person won that lot for $76. You can then, oh, why didn't I bid an extra $2? I got sniped at the end. I don't care. My whole point was $75. One time, one bid, one auction. $75, and if I get outbid, oh well. Now you can't do that now. Like $75 for a Galaxy Explorer? Are you kidding me? No. But back then, and so within the course of a year, 12 Galaxy Explorers were shipped to me. Some, most from Canada, some from the States, one from Paris, France. Fantastic. One of my favorite things I ever got in the mail, a Galaxy Explorer, and it was a lot of fun. But I won 12 times. I had 12 Galaxy Explorers in this house at one time. Right now, I think I have 8. I think I counted 8 last time. Maybe 10. I can't remember now. Because I got more Galaxy Explorers. And what I did for a while, I think at least 4 times, is I donated a Galaxy Explorer to BrickFet for their charity auction, which I think is a great thing to do. And it's not like I'm losing money on it. So here, Janie, go sell a Galaxy Explorer, go put it in the auction and make some money for the kids, whatever our charity was. To me, I trust her. She's doing the right thing, and I don't know what the charity was. But here's the Galaxy Explorer for it. I trust people, and so this is part of my love of appreciate. I don't have to know the ins and outs of what Janie's doing. I absolutely trust her implicitly, absolutely without I can walk with my eyes closed around her, because she's just going to do the right thing and help and do the thing. So I don't know what the charity was for. I'm sure I was told what the charity is for, but my flaky memory, I can't remember what the charity was for 4 years, one Galaxy Explorer each year. Now Jude bid on them every year. Jude seemed to, Jude got I think $400 one year for one Galaxy Explorer, and that was the base plates in the building too. But no instructions, no box. But it's for charity, so who cares? Um, and that's what I love to do. And so, but you have to be willing to walk away. And this is the other thing. You go on Facebook Marketplace, you go on Kijiji, you go on wherever, and you find a good lot, and oh, I want that lot, just like I wanted this one this week. I'm stepping back. Let somebody else have it, should they want it. If nobody wants it, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna get it because of it. But I have every one of those sets that was in there. But it's fun to have spares. So that's just who I am. As you can see, as I have spares. But you have to be willing to walk away should you feel that it's too much, and don't overextend yourself, and don't conflate the money just for the sake of having that specific auction, that specific lot, because especially used, because sooner or later there will be another lot. And I think the only time I've actually pushed a seller, this was with I'll bring it down for a sec, the SEQ. So I was again on Facebook Marketplace. This is a bunch of years back, 3 or 4. It was pre-COVID, and I saw a lot that had like 4 pictures on it, and one picture was of battery boxes, those C-size battery boxes, the round ones, Technic. There's at least 20 of them in there, and I'm going, oh, I'm already peaked. Why do we have 20 C battery boxes, the round ones, the cylinder ones, in a lot? And then the next picture was a box full of old 4.5 volt wiring, like at least 50 pieces of. Okay, now I'm really interested. And then the last picture was of this thing called an SEQ, and I'm going, that looks like, and straight up, you can ask Andy, that looks like the predecessor to the RCX. It really does. It looks like they shrunk the control center that used to plug into the Apple IIe or the PC or the Commodore 64. Looks like they shrunk it down and made it programmable right there in the box. And I'm going, I want this. And so I texted the guy in Marketplace. I said, I'm completely interested in this. And he goes, it's sold pending pickup. No. Oh, are you kidding me? I just saw it like 5 seconds ago. I want this lot. So I texted him, and he goes, it's already sold, pending pickup. The guy's supposed to be here like an hour from now. And I'm going, huh? Okay, what movement? Again, I'm not pressuring that person, but what movement do you have if the guy doesn't show up? What do you want to do? And he goes, well, if the guy's not here in an hour, like he's supposed to call me back. Basically, the guy said, the guy's going to call me back. If he doesn't call me back within a couple hours, it's yours. I said, I'm hopping in my car now because I'm in Hamilton and they were out in Etobicoke. I'm hopping in my car now. I'll be at the local Tim Hortons until you say yeah or nay. Perfect. So I drive out there, and he goes, the guy never showed up. Right at his doorstep. He actually met me at Tim Hortons that I was at. I was right there, and I got it, and it was like the most fantastically awesome lot. I mean, I'm not. I should have a drink of water. I don't know where this is coming from. An absolutely fantastic lot, and this is in comparison to my Selkirk. I mean, Selkirk was just wonderful. A lot of bricks, a lot of classic, a lot of 60s, 70s, waffle plates, fantastic. But I wasn't expecting anything besides Lego, right, of that era. And I just got lots of it. And it was a fantastic meeting. This was, and it's like, I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this, because I haven't experienced this a lot since I was like a little kid, is that you see a picture or you see something that completely intrigues you. Just like your mind is like, oh, I have to know what this is. And then you actually look into it and it's like, meh, like that's disappointing. And it's hard to find a concrete example, but I remember like a couple paintings. I'm like, this is so blowing my mind. Oh wait, that's not it. And all of a sudden that feeling of wonder and awe just kind of fades into, oh, that's okay. Right. So this lot was the one lot that exceeded my expectations, because I was curious 20 battery boxes, I was curious 50 4.5 volts, and I said, what is this SEQ thing? Brought it home, there was 4 SEQs, 4. And then I started programming them and going, this is, I mean, it's rudimentary compared to the NXT and the EV3 and whatever else they're doing now, because this is like 1987 stuff, like 1987 programming. Like it's like packing up a Commodore 60, not even a Commodore 64, like them, like 100, has 100 bits of memory in it, like that's it. But it's self-contained in this little box. And I said, and it's like I would say almost a decade before, or at least, but yeah, 1986, at least a decade before the RCX came out. And going, this is utterly fantastic. Like it exceeded like my wonder and awe to this day of the SEQ. And yes, completely rudimentary compared to what we have today, but I still love it. So anyway, how long are we in this? 45 minutes. Most stories I've already talked about, so let's talk about this thing really, really quick. So the 854-948, this is the 854-948 go-kart. Fantastic. This is the motorcycle that I built from the 854-948 from the pictures on the box. Fantastic. And now I have this guy built. So when I do a show, and I'm going to have a bit of a display at a show, and I'm going to set that up, not now, but at some point, I now have this build. Now, I will not build the last build in the booklet, the tire remover rubber like rim thing that I built it once years ago. Again, when I built from the box, I get, one of my problems is, and then I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, one of my issues is when I don't like something, it usually stays with me. It takes a lot of convincing to get me past the point where, oh, it's actually pretty good. I built the tire remover, a rim extractor, whatever you want to call it, when I got the 948 for Christmas. And I built the go-kart first, and I built the chopper second, and I built the tire remover third. And I said, this is just like again, if you go back, and even the classic space boxes, the alternate builds, some of those were dreck. Not bad, but some are really awesome. Why wasn't this the main build, and then this, what you did build out of it was the alternate? But some of those alternate builds were like meh, like yeah. But that was a tire rim extractor for me. Like I just didn't like it. I didn't like, as the one set in this, as the one build in this set that actually does use the crown gear, because that doesn't use the crown gear, and this doesn't use the crown gear, and that doesn't use the crown gear. But the crown gear came with the go-kart. And so this is the the tire rim extractor is the one build in this set that actually does use the crown gear. Sure. But whatever, it didn't matter to me. So I won't be building that. But what I might be doing, and I forgot about this one, so I'm looking at the box now, and here's the box. I don't want to tilt it up too much. But there is, see, this is a tire extractor right there. I built that, and it's like, no, not building it again. Where is it? This guy in the back here. I think I tried building him once, and I couldn't figure it out completely. It's a motorcycle with a sidecar. I don't know if, yeah, there's a picture of it in the back right there. So I do remember building him. I might be building him again. So this is the tire, like basically, if you ever go to a car mechanic shop, they have this machine that takes the rubber off the rim and puts the rubber on the rim, and this is what it is. And so you turn this, and it goes up here, and this thing turns around. Now, what was cool about this is that this thing, this gear here is on this little 4x4 square that is on an axle swivel, so it can go up and down and still turn. So I did learn that from this specific build here, how to do that, and they show you up here. That was cool, which helped in my robot builds to have a powered axle going through this and having this thing having the ability to swivel. I use that, something similar to that in a lot of my builds back in the day for my robots. Um, I am, because this is getting up to 50 minutes, and just like yesterday, a long time, and it's well past my bedtime. It's 1 o'clock now. I am going to go to bed. So thank you for, I don't think, there's how many people? Two. Well, I don't know if those they're still here, but if you are, thank you. If you're not, hope you're sleeping. 'Cause I'm gonna go to bed now. I will say, just by looking at this, because I got these spare parts now. After this build, there's a lot of spare parts. I just may, let's see. My issue is, this is my Technic bin of blue. And so these are my studless. These are my half whatever. I do not think, and this was the hold up in the first place for building that. I do not have any more 1x16 blue beams. I don't want people to think that I'm deficient of 1x16 blue beams. I got like probably 20 plus of them, but a lot of them are in the layout. So I will not be using those spare pieces to build anything else. I was going to find 1x16 and build another 9x8, but I'm not going to do that. So should I get another set of 1x16s, because that's what I'm missing in this pile here, I may build another 9x8, or just, I got enough. I think if I were to go into my box, and I'll be doing this because I did this for a reason, for tomorrow or sometime this weekend, I'm going to put all my 9x8s on display, 8x4s on display, because I haven't had them out of a box in a long time. And I'll probably do a video about it, so look forward to that. But I wanted these guys here, the motorcycle and the chopper here, because my display is the 9x8, 8x4, and these are part of that display. Anyway, on that note, I wish everybody well. So I want everybody to stay safe and take care. Be good to yourself, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon.